How's it going, everybody? This is Logan, or L.A.K Reptiles, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to care for a blue-tongued skink. So first I'm going to get him out. This is Slinky, our blue-tongued skink. There he is. He's just a juvenile, like I've said in previous videos. But yeah. So I'm going to get him out. I'm going to teach you guys basically all the proper steps to care for these guys. They're pretty easy. They're not too, too hard to take care of, I guess. But let's first start with cage. So I keep them. I'm not exactly sure the exact dimensions, but I'm pretty sure this is a 65-gallon cage. But you always want to make sure that you give them plenty of room to burrow. So I use Eco Earth and mixture of sphagnum moss. That way it can hold humidity, because these guys, like they're Holmahera, which is the subspecies for the blue-tongued skink, and they need a lot of humidity. That way it helps with shedding, their growth, as well as they need proper heating and UVB. So I use about probably an 80 to 85 watt bulb, because they don't need desert temperatures, but they do need pretty hot temperatures with about 40s to 60% humidity. Just depends on the type of subspecies, because they're all pretty similar in care, but it does change because he will get bigger than this, so he won't be able to live in this cage full time. So eventually he will have to get an upgrade, but for right now this is perfect for him. So some temperatures that I would recommend is mid 80s to low 90s for these guys. That's why I normally keep it. Right now it's summertime here, so we have our air conditioning on, so it's a little cold down here, so I like to keep the temperatures a little hotter. But yeah, like I said, UVB is really good for these guys, especially when they're young, because they need to grow, obviously. Like a lot of reptiles, they need UVB, so these guys do as well. But it's not a deal breaker if you don't have it, but I do highly recommend it. So let's go about decor. You want a lot, like I said, a lot of mulch, substrate, so that these guys could bury themselves. They love to dig. And he loves to make little tunnels for himself. Also give him a lot of hides. So as you can see, I have the rock hide, which is, he loves it. It's nice and dark, keeps him secure. I have 2 logs that he can crawl in, make his own little home, and just a bunch of other little substrate and that kind of stuff. So basically, you don't need to make it too complicated like other jungle forest kind of things. You just kind of have to make it simple. Give them stuff that they can burrow in and hide in if they feel threatened. But yeah, so that goes over what they liked in their cage. Now let's go over food. Blue-tongued skinks are actually pretty cool when it comes to food, because they can eat crickets and other insects, but what I've read is that they love dog food, and he absolutely loves dog food. And I'll show you actually the dog food I feed him. And it's the Caesar chicken liver recipe. I give him that every other day, and as you can see, he eats it throughout the week. We also give him some insects, but not too much, because they're not big insect guys. And then also I give him green leaves, because it's good to mix up the diet, especially when they're young. And he's peeing on me a little bit, but it's alright. So let's go ahead and get to, let's see, I covered lights. Make sure you give them a big water dish. Now this isn't the biggest water dish. I've heard that some people's blue-tongued skinks like to poop in their water bowls. He necessarily hasn't yet for me, but they do love to soak, especially when they're shedding. So you gotta make sure that you provide a decent sized water dish. honestly, something like this works perfectly fine for these guys, but it's also up to personal preference. So let's go ahead and get to the actual guy himself. So Slinky here, like I said, he's a juvenile, so he's not too big, but as you can see, he loves to move around. He's very active during the day, which is a diurnal species. So he'll move around very constantly, so that means they burn a lot of energy. So that means you have to feed these guys pretty often as a baby. So like I said, I feed him dog food every other day, and then the other days I give him greens, insects, so just mix it up. But like I said in my first video I've made, he did recover from mites, so that's something you have to be careful about when you guys do get lizards like skinks or snakes, because if you look closely, his scales are actually reversed, which gives the ticks, mites, easy access for them to burrow into his skin. And as you can see, he's brown and dark, so it's kind of hard to see, but when I got him, he was covered in mites. So I'm going to go ahead and go over how I got rid of them, and so if you have that problem, maybe this will work for you. Okay, so in order for them not to make a colony, you need to get rid of all your substrate, and basically go simple as possible. Don't give them any hideouts, just give them paper towels that they can burrow in, because he will go under the paper towels. Give him a water bowl and a food dish. Alright, and then before you do any of that, you gotta spray with some flea and tick treatment. I use Natural Care, and I sprayed the cage thoroughly and cleaned the cage, to make sure that any eggs, colonies are dead. You also want to give this guy a bath every single day. And you want to really I used a brush, like a little old toothbrush, and scraped all of them out with some flea and tick. Now, you can use this on them, but make sure you know how to use it, and always ask your vet or do your proper research, because all it takes is for them to lick that, because he loves to stick his tongue out to smell the air, and all it takes for that to get in his mouth and he gets sick. So you really got to know what you're doing. Be careful when you are using chemicals like that, but also if you don't feel comfortable using that, use hot water. Hot water and soap works perfectly for these guys if you want to get them clean. Now you do that, and then obviously you watch over them every single day. If you see any strands, any like stranded ticks, mites on them, pick them off, kill them. Also, if you do have dealing with mites, after handling these guys, make sure you thoroughly wash your hands, check your arms, because I can see he loves to walk all over my arms. So, you never know. Even now that he is clean of ticks, I still wash my hands, make sure, because you never know. Because you don't want to get it on your dogs, on your other humans that you live with, your other reptiles, and then you have a real big problem. So those are just my couple tips to deal with mites and ticks. Obviously, if you still have other questions, just ask in the comments below. I'll try to answer them best to my ability, or just go to your local vet and they should give you the right formula. But that about wraps it up. Just some other things about these guys. Oh yeah, he's getting a little shy, so we're gonna put him back. Starting to pee, so. But so just other things. I can see he loves to go on his little logs, and that's called enrichment, ladies and gentlemen. So enrichment's very, very healthy for any reptile, because it makes them work. It makes them feel like they're in the wild and not in captivity. So those are just a couple things. Now, obviously, if you're gonna buy blue tongue skink, yes, watch this video, but don't let this be the only thing you watch. Go and do your research. Use this video as a guide. And so what I mean by that is, don't go and say, oh, okay, this is all I need, now let's go buy it. Because this guy, 200 bucks. Okay, so they're not the most affordable reptile, but I guarantee you, once you do get the hang of everything, they are very, very fun joy. And yeah, I mean, they have a dog personality, and you know, it's not because they eat dog food. It's just they have that kind of way with them. They aren't very bitey, so I've never been bit by them. As you can see, his defense mechanism is peeing or pooping. But yeah, I mean, as long as you give them the right necessary needs for them to survive, they're gonna have no problems. So that's about all I got for you guys today. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the bell notifications, and see you in the next one.